Hi guys, it's Colette. Welcome back to my channel, and this is the weekly tarot card for the week commencing Monday the 3rd of May. We're into May, and it's just your general one card for the aspects of the week ahead. Welcome to all the new subscribers. We've jumped a wee bit and it's nice to see you. I hope you'll stay. And to the Goldie Oldies, welcome back. So let's get ready for this. Weekly tarot card for Monday the 3rd of May. Whoops. Oh, looks like a wee bit of a difficult one. The 7 of Discs. Not ideal. But let's see a wee bit about it. It's got a wee man sitting there, head down. All the clouds above and the energy of the blockages there, but if you see, the horizon is quite bright and there's sun breaking through the clouds. Number 7 is always quite a spiritual card, so this is the first break in the chain of kind of positive cards that we've had excuse me, in the last 3-4 weeks. It's very much about maybe coming down to earth and not over hoping for things. Now we've had some really good cups card, we've had the Fool, and what happens is when we go ahead with hope and things are changing, what can happen every so often is that there's a kind of step back from that and a feeling of things getting heavier again. Now that in itself doesn't need to be a big thing, particularly if you know that that energy is coming. The word associated with this card is failure, but I would say it's more a sense of the pressing down of a sense that failure might be there. I don't like failure as a word anyway, I prefer learning. But 7 of Discs can be a difficult card to manoeuvre, particularly if you have got yourself into a frame of mind that is very, you know, that positivity that's just too positive. It's almost like a hysterical positivity. Excuse me, things are going to get better, we're moving on, this is great, everything's turning out well, when really we've had a little boost and a move towards good things. But this card comes as a reminder that we still have to look after ourselves, that we still have to be aware that even in the flow of good things happening, there is a sense of heaviness, that maybe some things are happening elsewhere, some things are not going the way we would want them, or sometimes things are going too slow and we feel that weight of, oh my goodness, why I don't have any more energy for this. Let me look again. What can this mean in the sort of world? Again, the world's a big place, and there was a general feeling of optimism and things moving forward. But this card works in with maybe, you know, that we're getting forward, particularly, you know, in Scotland, USA, that things are maybe moving forward with COVID, and we're getting to feel that, you know, the end's in sight. And then you see the news reports about India and the deaths in India, and we're like, oh, and that's the energy associated with that card. It's like keeping going, getting positive, and then going, oh. So there might be a collective, this week for world events. We thought things were moving forward a bit better than they were, and so be aware of that, particularly if this comes in a zone maybe of politics or things that we should be looking forward to or think we should be looking forward to, and then it's, you know, it's a hard one to explain globally because you know, obviously the globe is a big globe and there's a lot going on, but it's a sense of working hard towards an end result. and then thinking that you're getting there, and then having that weight of, no, you have to fight again another wee while. You have to keep going against this. So bear that in mind where situations are fragile, because this card, when people feel that down, they can become apathetic and be like, no, I can't do this anymore, I'm done. But there can be, there's more of the bullshit people that will take this and say, not again, I need to break free from this, and become very, very over the top. It's very much depends on how much energy you put into things, how much positivity you saw, and how near your end goal you thought you were, only for it to be pulled back a bit. Okay, so be aware of that. It's kind of interesting that, and I hope this card isn't indicative of things like the Scottish elections this week. There's a lot of things going on with progress against COVID. There's a lot of regimes changing, and this comes as either a kind of stop sign or a stop for now sign, or literally I'm going to blast through it. But the energies of this card are simply fed up and tired, to be honest. I'm trying to make it more upbeat than it is, because I know there's quite a lot going on this week that I do not necessarily want that card to be there. But it is what it is. And remember, these cards are general. Some people will have weeks that just soar ahead and they don't even feel the slightest bit of this energy. Others will be affected with it badly, and others will just have that background energy. So it's a very personal thing as to how the cards affect you all individually, because we are all individuals. If we look at it in career again, I see this as a time like is almost like, the schools getting ready for exams, but they're at that stage where they're too tired and they're starting to get dissatisfied with how they're doing. And in career it can be that way as well, that you feel as though you're needing your summer holiday, but it's not there yet and everything's bearing down on you. So if you're in a very stressful job situation, it may well be that you need to take yourself out of it for a wee while in the week ahead, to build up energies again, and to lose negativity that comes with this card. I always feel like the wee man's head is down, but if you were to look up, there is light. There is light behind those clouds. So sometimes it's getting yourself away from the situation, taking a couple of days off, giving yourself a break so that you can see that there's a way forward. And this is just a temporary exhaustion, a practical way of the universe slowing things down. And sometimes that can actually be helpful. So although we look at that card and go, oh, it could be that things need slowed down and we're just not aware of the energy behind it. In health, it can warn you about exhaustion of just trying to keep up doing the practical things in life. This is a card that will affect people that like their house is pristine and have to have everything just so. You'll find that there's an agitation comes out when it doesn't stay the way you want it. It's that thing that you've been practically on the go, on top of things, and for some reason you're losing that energy and it's like, I can't keep this up. Well, don't keep it up. The house will be there when you're not. So give yourself a break, because otherwise mental health can be affected by the practical heaviness, weightiness of this card. Where relationships are concerned, you might find that you've been going along well and then your partner does something to block it. Like maybe you've been on dodgy ground as such and you've been moving forward and getting there, and then there's a kind of letdown and that feeling of, oh, can I keep going with this? There could be light at the end of the tunnel, so maybe communicate or have some time where you feel that both of you can do your own thing and come back with a freshness. Financially, again, it's very much about finding pressure building up and coming down on you. So although things may look to be getting better, generally your own personal financial situation could, the practicalities of it, not necessarily the amount of money you've got, but you could find that you've got a form in to do and then you do it and you have to do it again, or you've got, you know, to get ready for tax things, and it's just that heaviness of the practicalities to do with money. And I don't know what to say to you about that, because sometimes with this card we just have to remind ourselves that once these tasks are done, that they're done, and we can sort of look and see all the clouds just pulling away and we can go forward financially. Spiritually, it's kind of similar. You know, I've been talking a wee bit in the background to people about being on plateaus spiritually. Some people will go, oh, in their journey up, and then they plateau, and that plateau is meant to be a time where things get absorbed. Things literally have time to sink in before you move up again. And this is the card when the plateau is starting to annoy people more, that they feel as though they've been on the same plateau for too long and they want that light. Continue to do your basic practices, your prayers, your meditations, your protections. Just keep going every day, and then suddenly you'll move off the plateau. But there's no doubt this week spiritually you could be like, oh, I'm stuck, I haven't made great progress. You probably have, but you've probably made amazing progress, but need this plateau for it to all sink in, and for you to be able to use the knowledge that you've accrued. There's no good just accruing knowledge. It has to be for something that you can then put into action. And these plateaus are the time where everything sort of knits together in our psyches and in our brains, so that we can use the knowledge rather than just say, well, I've learned that and I'm going to learn another thing, but never put it into actual motion. So spiritually, be patient. So it's a practical heaviness exhaustion card, where it's hard to look up and see that the clouds are parting, even as you're feeling this heaviness. That's the thing about this card. The indication is that the man's head's still down, but the clouds are, the sun is breaking through the clouds as he sits there, and he's just not looking up. Now in other decks in Rorig, this becomes more of a kind of boring, repetitive card, but I think Rorig, his idea of it opens more hope, that if we're stuck with the boring and the mundane, it's a good time to actually keep going with that, but seeing the light in the distance and knowing that sometimes you just have to solve something. Sometimes you just have to keep going, because there's not much you can do, but you do know that things are getting better. So I hope you've understood that. And it's not the worst card in the world. It's really not. I've like the Hanged Man card in the majors. I've always been aware that delays and being held in a certain place can actually be what the universe needs for us, and to fight too much to get out of that can actually, you know, like if you've done magic or you're feeling a flow of something, it can actually divert that a bit. So you have to understand that at times, whether you do magic, whether you're on a spiritual path working exercise, that there'll come times where you just have to do the basic ritual of putting one foot in front of the other until the time is right for everything to move. So be aware of that, particularly if you have been working magically, because what can happen is with the Fool, we put the energy into the magic and then we have a waiting time, because You know, magic has to find its way through various pathways before it can work, and that could be the phase that you're in, you know, say with a new home thing or a fertility rite or whatever. Don't think that it's not going to happen. Just know that there has to be things that happen in the background that you have no control over, and meanwhile you just have to go on with things. So I hope that's a wee bit clearer to you. If you like the weekly tarot, give me a thumbs up. I know I'm meant to promote my book at this point, but I always forget to have it out. And if you want to support the channel, you can do it on KoFi, which the link is below. And there's things up in the coffee shop now that are free for you, like downloads and stuff that basically are some of the thoughts behind some of my videos, and also things that maybe are going in the new book. So if you go on there and have a look in the shop, you might find some things that you would want, and they're free. So many blessings now. Have a good week ahead. Don't get frustrated.